There's nothing wrong with a drink or two every now and then, but these Hollywood stars did more than just indulge. For them, drinking had become such a lifestyle choice that they were mostly known for being drunk all the time. Veronica Lake. Born Constance Frances Marie Ockelman on November 14, 1922 in Brooklyn, New York, Veronica Lake was a star whose light shone brilliantly but all too briefly in the Hollywood firmament. Her journey to stardom began in the early 1940s, when she was discovered by producer Arthur Hornblow, Jr. Her breakthrough role came in the film I Wanted Wings, 1941, which showcased her alluring beauty and distinctive peekaboo hairstyle, a look that quickly became her trademark and inspired women across America. Despite her professional success, Lake's personal life was marred by turmoil. Her marriage to director John S. Detley ended in divorce in 1943, a casualty of her burgeoning career and personal struggles. She married and divorced twice more, each relationship marked by strife and instability. Lake's battle with alcoholism became increasingly evident, affecting her performances and relationships within the industry. Lake's drinking habits, which started as a way to cope with the pressures of fame and the demands of Hollywood, soon spiraled out of control. Her reputation for being difficult on set and her frequent bouts of intoxication led to a decline in her career. Studio executives, once eager to cast her in leading roles, began to view her as a liability. By the early 1950s, her film offers had dwindled, and she found herself out of favor in Hollywood. Desperate to escape the pressures and public scrutiny, Lake moved to New York, hoping to revive her career on the stage. However, her struggles with alcohol persisted, and she found herself increasingly isolated from the industry that once celebrated her. Her financial situation deteriorated, and she eventually took a job at a hotel bar, serving drinks to patrons who scarcely recognized the former screen siren. In a tragic twist, Lake's life took another downward turn when she ended up working in a New York soup kitchen, dishing out meals to the homeless and destitute. This stark reality was a far cry from the glitz and glamour of her Hollywood heyday. Despite her fall from grace, Lake's resilience and tenacity were evident in her determination to survive, even in the face of such adversity. Veronica Lake passed away on July 7, 1973, at the age of 50, from complications related to hepatitis and acute renal failure, both exacerbated by her years of heavy drinking. Mildred Jun. Mildred Jun Johnson, in 1922, entered Hollywood with dreams of stardom during the vibrant era of the 1940s. Blessed with a striking beauty and a natural talent for acting, she quickly caught the eye of casting directors and producers. Her early roles in films showcased her potential, and she seemed poised for a successful career on the silver screen. However, behind the scenes, Jun battled a relentless struggle with alcohol addiction. What initially may have seemed like social drinking to cope with the pressures of Hollywood soon escalated into a full-blown dependency. Her erratic behavior and unpredictable temperament on set became increasingly evident, leading to tensions with studio executives and co-stars alike. Despite sporadic attempts at rehabilitation and periods of sobriety, alcohol remained an ever-present shadow over Jun's life. Her career trajectory mirrored the peaks and valleys of her personal battles. At times, she would land significant roles that hinted at her talent and potential, only to see them slip away due to her struggles with addiction. As the years passed, the toll of her alcoholism became increasingly apparent. Missed auditions, unreliable performances, and unreliable behavior became the norm. Her once promising career began to stagnate, and opportunities dwindled. The Hollywood spotlight that had once shone brightly on Mildred Jun dimmed as she faded from the public eye. Elizabeth Taylor. The iconic actress, known for her beauty, talent, and tumultuous personal life, also struggled with alcoholism throughout much of her life. Born in 1932 in London, Taylor grew up in the spotlight from a young age, making her film debut at the age of 10. Her rise to stardom in Hollywood during the 1950s solidified her as one of the most famous actresses of her generation. Taylor's relationship with alcohol began early. As a teenager, she was already exposed to the party culture of Hollywood, where drinking was often normalized. By her 20s, she had developed a reputation for enjoying alcohol socially, which continued into her adult years. However, it was in the 1970s that her drinking problems escalated significantly. During this decade, Taylor's personal life was marked by multiple marriages and divorces, which often played out in the public eye. Her tumultuous relationships and the pressures of fame seemed to fuel her reliance on alcohol as a coping mechanism. Reports from that time indicate numerous instances where Taylor appeared in public visibly intoxicated or was involved in incidents related to her drinking. In the early 1980s, Taylor's struggles with alcohol reached a critical point. She was hospitalized several times for alcohol poisoning, highlighting the severity of her addiction. In 1983, Taylor made a pivotal decision to seek help and checked into rehab to address her alcoholism. This period marked a turning point in her life as she began to confront her dependency and take steps toward recovery. Despite her ongoing battles with alcohol, Taylor continued to work in film and remained a prominent public figure. Her resilience and determination to overcome personal challenges endeared her to fans and garnered respect from her peers in the industry. Throughout her later years, she remained candid about her struggles with addiction, using her platform to advocate for awareness and support for others facing similar issues. Dorothy Dandridge, born November 9, 1922 in Cleveland, Ohio, was a trailblazer in Hollywood, breaking racial barriers and paving the way for future generations of African-American actresses. She is best remembered for her groundbreaking role in Carmen Jones, 1954, which earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress, the first African-American woman to receive such an honor. Her immense talent and beauty captivated audiences, making her a symbol of progress in a racially divided industry. However, behind her professional success lay a deeply troubled personal life, marred by a persistent struggle with alcoholism. From an early age, Dandridge faced numerous challenges. Growing up in a racially segregated society, she and her sister Vivian performed in a song and dance act under the management of their mother, Ruby. The pressures of performing and the harsh realities of racial discrimination took a toll on Dandridge, sowing the seeds of her later struggles with alcohol. As her career progressed, Dandridge's drinking became increasingly problematic. The relentless demands of Hollywood, coupled with the racial discrimination she faced, left her feeling isolated and under immense pressure. Alcohol became a means of escape, a way to numb the pain and cope with the stress. She was known for her heavy drinking, often showing up to sets intoxicated or recovering from the effects of alcohol. Her personal life was equally tumultuous. Dandridge's marriages were fraught with difficulties. Her first marriage to dancer Harold Nicholas ended in divorce, partly due to his infidelity and her growing dependence on alcohol. Her second marriage to Jack Dennison was marred by domestic violence and financial problems, further exacerbating her drinking issues. The couple eventually divorced, leaving Dandridge to grapple with her addiction alone. In the 1960s, Dandridge's career began to decline. Roles became scarce, and her financial situation deteriorated. She was reportedly hospitalized several times for alcohol-related issues, including alcohol poisoning. Friends and colleagues noted her increasing unreliability and erratic behavior, which alienated many who had once supported her. Despite her efforts to revive her career, the combination of professional setbacks, personal turmoil, and alcohol addiction proved overwhelming. On September 8, 1965, Dandridge was found dead in her West Hollywood apartment at the age of 42. The official cause of death was an accidental overdose of a barbiturate, but her years of heavy drinking had undoubtedly taken a severe toll on her health and well-being. Tula Bankhead. Born on January 31, 1902 in Huntsville, Alabama, Bankhead was a force of nature both on and off the screen. Known for her deep, husky voice, magnetic stage presence, and roles in films such as Alfred Hitchcock's Lifeboat, 1944, Bankhead left a legendary mark on Hollywood and Broadway. However, her professional accomplishments were often overshadowed by her notorious wild lifestyle and excessive drinking, making her one of the most infamous figures of her time. Bankhead hailed from a prominent political family, with her father serving as a U.S. congressman and her grandfather as a U.S. senator. Despite her privileged background, Bankhead was drawn to the excitement and unpredictability of the performing arts. She began her acting career in the theater, quickly earning acclaim for her powerful performances and commanding stage presence. Her success on Broadway led to a brief but notable film career where her talents were showcased to a wider audience. However, Bankhead's reputation was not solely built on her acting prowess. She was equally known for her flamboyant personality, biting wit, and hedonistic lifestyle. From an early age, Bankhead indulged in the fast-paced, decadent culture of the entertainment industry. Her love for parties, late-night carousing, and, most notably, alcohol, became central aspects of her public persona. Bankhead's excessive drinking was legendary. She often consumed vast quantities of alcohol, and her behavior while intoxicated was both unpredictable and sensational. She was known to arrive at parties already heavily inebriated, and her antics often made headlines. Stories of her outrageous behavior, such as stripping naked at parties or making scandalous remarks, only added to her notoriety. On the set of Lifeboat, Hitchcock reportedly had to contend with Bankhead's drinking, which sometimes interfered with her performance. Despite this, her talent shone through, earning her critical praise for her role as the sophisticated yet resilient journalist Connie Porter. However, her off-screen antics, including drinking and wild partying, were a constant challenge for directors and producers. Bankhead's personal life was equally tumultuous. Her relationships were often brief and intense, marked by the same passion and unpredictability that characterized her public life. She had numerous high-profile romances with both men and women, but her heavy drinking frequently strained these relationships. Friends and lovers alike struggled to cope with her erratic behavior and dependency on alcohol. In the 1950s, as the roles became scarcer and her health began to decline, Bankhead's drinking intensified. Her once vibrant career started to wane, and she found herself more isolated. Despite attempts to sober up, her dependency on alcohol proved too strong. By the 1960s, her health had deteriorated significantly due to years of heavy drinking and smoking. Tula Bankhead passed away on December 12, 1968, at the age of 66. The official cause of death was pneumonia, complicated by emphysema and malnutrition, all exacerbated by her lifelong battle with alcoholism. Frances Farmer. Born on September 19, 1913 in Seattle, Washington, Farmer was an actress whose life was a tragic intersection of extraordinary talent and profound personal struggles. Known for her striking beauty and captivating performances, she starred in films such as Come and Get It, 1936, and Rhythm on the Range, 1936. Despite her promising career, Farmer's life was overshadowed by severe alcoholism and mental health issues that ultimately marred her career and personal life. Frances Farmer was a gifted student with a rebellious spirit. Her independent streak was evident early on when, as a high school student, she wrote an essay titled God Dies that won a national contest and sparked controversy. This defiance and boldness would characterize much of her life. After studying drama at the University of Washington, Farmer's striking looks and undeniable talent caught the attention of Hollywood scouts. She made her film debut in 1936 and quickly gained recognition for her roles in Come and Get It and Rhythm on the Range. Her performances were well received, and she was hailed as a rising star. Despite her early success, Farmer was uncomfortable with the superficiality and constraints of Hollywood. She often clashed with studio executives and expressed disdain for the industry's exploitative nature. Farmer's discomfort with Hollywood's pressures and her increasing reliance on alcohol soon became a vicious cycle. Initially, alcohol may have served as a coping mechanism for the stress and scrutiny she faced, but it quickly spiraled into a severe addiction. Her heavy drinking began to affect her work, and she developed a reputation for being difficult on set. She would often show up late, forget her lines, and have erratic mood swings, leading to strained relationships with colleagues and directors. One infamous incident highlighting the extent of her addiction occurred in 1942 when Farmer was arrested for drunk driving. Her behavior during the arrest was erratic and combative, further damaging her reputation. She was subsequently sentenced to 180 days in jail, though she served only a fraction of that time. Farmer's struggles were not limited to alcohol. She also battled severe mental health issues, which were poorly understood and treated during her time. Her erratic behavior and alcoholism led to a series of highly publicized arrests and court appearances. In 1943, she was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and was institutionalized at the Kimball Sanitarium. Her time in psychiatric institutions was marked by horrific treatment, including reported instances of physical abuse, forced medication, and even electroconvulsive therapy, ECT. These traumatic experiences exacerbated her mental health issues and contributed to the further decline of her career. After her release from institutional care in the late 1940s, Farmer attempted to revive her career, but her reputation as an unreliable and troubled actress preceded her. She appeared in a few low-budget films and stage productions, but the major studios had all but blacklisted her. Her alcohol addiction continued to plague her, and she lived much of her later life in relative obscurity. Despite these struggles, Farmer managed to write an autobiography, Will There Really Be a Morning?, published posthumously, which shed light on her harrowing experiences and offered a poignant reflection on her life. Sadly, Frances Farmer died on August 1, 1970, at the age of 56, from esophageal cancer, likely exacerbated by years of heavy drinking and smoking. Her life story remains a haunting example of how immense talent can be tragically overshadowed by personal demons and systemic failures in understanding and treating mental health and addiction. John Barrymore. Originally called John Sidney Blythe, John Barrymore was born on February 15, 1882 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and was a member of the illustrious Barrymore acting dynasty, known as the Great Profile, due to his striking looks. Barrymore became one of the most famous and talented actors of his generation, excelling in both stage and film. Despite his enormous talent and success, Barrymore's life was marred by a debilitating struggle with alcoholism, which ultimately led to his physical and mental decline. Barrymore was born into a theatrical family. His parents, Maurice Barrymore and Georgiana Drew, were both actors, as were his siblings Lionel and Ethel Barrymore. Following in their footsteps, John Barrymore made his stage debut in 1903. His charm, good looks, and extraordinary talent quickly earned him acclaim on Broadway, where he gained a reputation as a leading man in both comedic and dramatic roles. Despite his professional success, Barrymore's personal life was in turmoil, largely due to his excessive drinking. His addiction to alcohol began in his early years and progressively worsened. He was known for his heavy drinking and often arrived on set intoxicated or hungover, which affected his performances and professional relationships. Barrymore's legendary drinking was well documented. He would consume vast amounts of alcohol, leading to unpredictable and often erratic behavior. His alcoholism contributed to a series of public scandals and legal issues, further tarnishing his reputation. Friends and colleagues frequently expressed concern for his well-being, but their interventions had little effect on his self-destructive habits. In his later years, Barrymore's health continued to worsen, and he faced financial difficulties. His once glorious career had been overshadowed by his addiction, and he struggled to find work. Despite his talent and legacy, his final years were marked by decline and isolation. John Barrymore passed away on May 29, 1942, at the age of 60. The official cause of death was cirrhosis of the liver and kidney failure, directly resulting from his years of heavy drinking. His death marked the end of a tragic tale of a brilliant actor brought low by his personal demons. Robert Walker. Robert Walker, born Robert Hudson Walker on October 13, 1918 in Salt Lake City, Utah, was a talented actor whose career, though promising, was tragically short-lived. Known for his memorable performances in films such as Strangers on a Train, 1951, and Since You Went Away, 1944, Walker's life and career were deeply affected by his struggles with alcoholism and mental health issues. Despite his talent and early success, these personal demons ultimately led to his premature death. Walker grew up in a turbulent environment, with his parents divorcing when he was young. He moved frequently and faced a challenging childhood. Despite these hardships, he found solace in acting and attended the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City, where he honed his craft and met his future wife, actress Jennifer Jones. Walker made his film debut in the early 1940s and quickly gained recognition for his boyish charm and acting talent. His breakthrough role came in Since You Went Away, where he starred alongside Claudette Colbert and his then-wife Jennifer Jones. His performance earned him widespread acclaim and established him as a rising star in Hollywood. Despite his professional success, Walker's personal life was fraught with difficulties. His marriage to Jennifer Jones ended in a bitter divorce in 1945, which deeply affected him. The emotional turmoil from the divorce, combined with the pressures of Hollywood, led Walker to increasingly rely on alcohol as a coping mechanism. Walker's alcoholism soon became a significant issue, affecting both his personal and professional life. He was known for his heavy drinking, which led to erratic behavior and difficulties on film sets. His colleagues often found him unreliable and unpredictable, and his reputation in the industry began to suffer. In addition to his alcoholism, Walker struggled with mental health issues, including severe bouts of depression. These struggles were exacerbated by his alcohol consumption, creating a vicious cycle that further deteriorated his mental and physical health. His behavior became more erratic, and he faced several public incidents related to his drinking. One of Walker's most notable roles came in Alfred Hitchcock's Strangers on a Train, where he portrayed the charming yet psychopathic Bruno Antony. His performance was highly praised, but the role also mirrored his own internal struggles, highlighting the darkness that plagued him. Walker's mental health issues led to multiple hospitalizations and treatments, but the medical interventions of the time were often inadequate. In 1951, during a particularly severe episode, Walker was administered a sedative to calm him. Tragically, the sedative, combined with his existing health issues and alcohol consumption, led to his untimely death on August 28, 1951, at the age of 32,